I guess what people like Suella Braverman, Robert Jenrick and even the Prime Minister Rishi Sunak will say is that Britain needs to rely less on migrants to do jobs, for example, in the NHS and the care sector, and rely more on British people. When told about the wages specifically in the care sector itself, the response is suppliers need to pay more. However, while the government is giving on rhetoric, it never backs it up with actual cash. Here, Professor Brian Bell of the Migration Advisory Committee explained to the Home Office Select Committee why Britain needs to rely on immigration.
And Professor Bell, as part of the 5-point plan, it's a suggestion that we have less reliance on international workers meeting the needs within the care sector and for us to grow our own, as it were. And I just wanted to know how you see that happening in the future, given that a lot of those jobs are so low paid and a lot of local people don't want to work in that sector.
So the MAP reported on social care in April 2022. It remains the only report, as I'm aware, that the government had never responded to when we submitted a report. They accepted essentially one recommendation from our report, which was to open the route for care workers. There's been no progress whatsoever on our main recommendation, which was unless you change the pay of care workers, you cannot deal with this problem. And it is depressing that no progress has been made. Frankly, it doesn't take a genius to work out that if Aldi's paying £12.50 to stack shelves, you're probably not going to want to work in a care home at the minimum wage. And everyone agrees with that. I see lots of nodding around the table, and then no funding is put in place to deal with it. And until that happens, we will continue to rely on immigration, and we will continue to rely on it more and more.
There you have it. If you're not funding social care, if you're not providing higher wages, then, of course, people are going to do other jobs. As he pointed out here, you can earn over £12 an hour in Aldi packing shelves, while if you work in the care sector, you're paid minimum wage. So now the Tories will say, well, what we need to do is force the care sector to pay higher wages. But if we look at how funding goes to the care sector, well, some of it is from, most of it is actually from local authorities. Some of it is also from the NHS, but local authorities are generally responsible. Now, some funding for the care sector is ring-fenced, some of that funding for adult social care, but generally the funding is not ring-fenced, meaning that there isn't a set amount of money set aside for the care sector. So as councils and local authorities are struggling at the moment, they're seeing inflation eating into their budgets. They're seeing the central government not providing them with sufficient funding. And of course, it's more difficult for local authorities to raise money than central government. So what they're doing is they're seeing a growing population of elderly people who are putting more strain on social care. They're seeing more people being moved out of the NHS into social care, and their budgets are getting smaller and smaller in real terms. When it comes to paying higher wages, then you're going to have to see councils being properly funded. Otherwise, as was pointed out here by Professor Brian Bell, people are going to leave that sector and work. Think about it. The Tories and the right wing will say, well, look, this is a vocation. But vocations don't pay the bills, don't pay rent, don't help you feed your family. You need an actual wage. You need a living wage. And if somebody is given an option, you can work in the care sector for minimum wage, where you're going to struggle to get by and you'll probably be on universal credit. Or you can work in a supermarket without the stress of working in the care sector, and you can earn a lot more just by packing shelves. Then what are people going to do? People get into care because they want to do the job, but you can't rely on them surviving on minimum wage during a cost of living crisis. So, of course, if the care sector can't find people in the local community, they're going to look further afield, and they're going to be able to bring in, if they're able to bring in people from abroad, that's what they're going to do. Because those people are saying, okay, I'm from a poorer country in another part of the world, I can earn some extra money, better wages in Britain in respect to my own home country, and I can work in the care sector. That's what's going to happen. If you block that off, if you don't provide the care sector with the workers it needs, it's going to collapse. Let me know in the comment section, guys, what you think. As always, your comments are greatly appreciated. Thanks a lot.